I'm Shari Einhorn. Ever had this happen? You're driving on any road, anywhere on the island. Someone passes you by and then all you smell is pot.
Sometimes I'd be driving and you would have this fragrance, if you want to call it that.
Typically, it happens quite often, more often than none. It's typically at stop signs and traffic lights.
Driving high on marijuana, a dangerous and potentially deadly decision. Prosecutors say this is what can happen: devastating crashes, loved ones lost.
It is unfair.
And families who are left to pick up the pieces.
We just want to see justice done for my wife.
Driving high puts everyone on the road at risk.
How would you know? How it affects the person driving or the person behind you? You don't know.
Statistics are lumped together in an impaired driving category and not broken down by cannabis alone. Still, the numbers are on the rise. Deadly crashes involving drivers impaired by either drugs, alcohol, or both jumped from 108 in 2019 to 146 in 2022.
When legalization went through, I think a lot of people maybe interpreted that as a signal that it's okay to drive while impaired. Well, alcohol is legal, and it's certainly not okay to drive drunk. So we want to make sure that same message is clear with cannabis.
Here's the challenge for police and prosecutors. Although there's a saliva test pilot program, there's currently no roadside tool in New York to measure the amount of cannabis in your system like a breathalyzer does with alcohol. There's also no legal limit on the books for cannabis impairment.
It's a very, very frustrating situation in this day and age. When you're talking about being drug impaired, drugs affect people in different ways. So it's much more convoluted. The standard field sobriety tests definitely still work. They're definitely still an indicator as to whether you're intoxicated, but it's much less clear cut.
Prosecutors say the penalties are pretty similar for drunk and drugged drivers, with one key difference. If you're convicted of a drunk driving offense, it's mandatory that you get an ignition interlock device. With a drugged driving conviction, it's not.
Here in New York, we don't believe that the penalties are as strong as they could be for people that get behind the wheel after, using drugs.
Until and unless the science catches up to what's happening in society.
It's really more about education. We need people to know that driving while impaired is impaired is impaired. There's no way around it.
For Newsday TV, I'm Shari Einhorn.